its original purpose still shrouded in mystery, Stonehenge is one of Britain's most famous sites to visit. But less than 2 miles away, the landscape's been hiding something that could have been even more impressive. This is Durrington Walls. It's been dubbed a superhenge because this great bank and ditch behind me surrounds an area 5 times the size of Stonehenge. And it's here, beneath my feet, that archaeologists have found at least 100 standing stones that would have loomed over it 4,500 years ago. Systematically scanning the area with ground-penetrating radar, researchers have been able to pick up signals reflected from stones about a metre beneath the earth. Many of them would have stood up to 4 metres in height, making this a great ancient arena.
They've just been pushed over and a massive bank being placed on top of them. So for the best part of 4,500 years, these have just been hidden, lost to archaeology and history, and we've just found them again.
So as archaeologists bring new, high-tech tools to this ancient place, it's still revealing its secrets. Victoria Gill, BBC News.
As you heard from the report, a new Stonehenge was found. It was first believed to be just a mound in the landscape shaped as a C, but it seems megaliths were found underneath, which would suggest a later Celtic culture buried them. Most likely they will just write this off as another religious site. But no one is asking the questions. As someone studying to be a landscape architect, I want to know why Stonehenge has a more geometric design, while the majority of stone circles seem simple and randomly placed with no particular alignment. Unless they are just extremely eroded, but this would suggest they are over 20,000 years old. This is unlikely. They are most likely within 7,000 BC. The only design element is that they have an erect shape, made of sarsen stones forming a circle. Also, the sheer number of these megaliths found in Europe seems to defy the population and technological level needed to move these stones. For at around 5000 BC only 6 million people inhabited the earth. Also, if they were an advanced civilization, why wouldn't they keep a record of how they moved all these megaliths, averaging some 60 tons? Stonehenge was made by people, but did they choose to use megaliths to emulate a phenomenon they were witnessing, just as we do today with crop circles? As someone considering being a MoveFound investigator, I believe there is a connection between crop circles and stone circles in the landscape. There are many legends of fairies, wisps, angels and demons. Nowadays we call them UFOs, and our pop culture wants to portray the phenomenon as being caused by extraterrestrials, fitting to our desire for them to be like us and for us to be like them. But so far the evidence is not pointing to something biological in nature, but something far more supernatural. You might ask, what about the alien gray crop circle that popped up in 2001? Well, if they are supernatural, they may have the ability to transform into ETs, but not in a biological sense, or they could be testing us. This same phenomenon could be happening on other Earth-like planets. They originally may have been biological, but have evolved to a supernatural state, a Type 4 civilization, as Dr. Michio Kaku puts it. If we accept the fact UFOs are real, then who's to say they would not interact with us in some way, but not in a way that is too obvious, like saying UFOs made the pyramids? But something more discreet. I proposed these UFOs had made some of the henges, single standing stones and dolmens, which can also be found in Korea, and we tried to emulate them. You might ask, what is the purpose for UFOs doing this, if we suggest that these beings are more concerned with the evolution of our beliefs? Then they may be doing this to affect us psychologically or spiritually, to test our beliefs, and even change them as part of our evolution as a civilization, just as with the crop circle phenomenon. UFOs may have started it, and then 2 old men responded as a joke, sparking a fad, which may have been the intent by the UFOs. It's up to us to figure out which ones are theirs. By staying at the level of our ability, they're able to hide their circles within our doubts. It's only in the details that they are giving us hints to their ability and nature as part of a slow disclosure process on their part, so as to not shock us. The internet may be their medium of disclosure. There is most likely a theological component to the phenomenon. One example is with the origins of Islam. It is said the angel Gabriel appears to Muhammad. From there a chain reaction and our beliefs happened and a new religion was born. It is hard for us to see the big picture, and if we are to trust them and each other, we have to judge it by its fruit, one bit of evidence that it gives us over time. This is all just my opinion based on my sightings with UFOs and understanding of landscapes and anthropology. Let us know if you have any ideas or experiences with UFOs.
and that there is communication through these patterns such as the rose.
I agree. This interactive quality, I mean, I think I've mentioned the 1999 experience in the oilseed rape formation where I'm alone and a large orb of light 2 feet or so in diameter appears in the middle of the night right in front of me in the crop circle and stays long enough for me to walk over to it, walk around it, and go and sit down again.
Perhaps because you were so genuinely trying to understand what was behind the crop formations, and that the ball of light seemed to come and just be there without motion, without telepathic thought, so that you could get up and go around it and know that it was something that you could see from three-dimensional perspectives, and that it seemed to be answering your question.
Yeah, the crop circle was in a field of oilseed rape which was 7 feet high, huge, thick stems. Any types of mechanics on those types of plants do massive physical damage to the stems, the roots, the flower heads in particular, and we could not find anything damaged on it. A plank of wood on a plant like that, celery-type stems, break the base of the stems, scrape along the stem and then rip off a lot of flowers and generally cause a horrible mess. Massive damage means a lot of those flower heads are pretty much ripped up and it leaves an entirely different look from the air. So that large-scale structure of that crop circle could not be explained in any sense in mechanical terms, and then that experience happens entirely anomalous, close enough to have no doubts whatsoever that there's something interacting here with individuals or groups of people, interdimensional, whatever it turned out to be. I wanted to interact with it in a way that's in some sense meaningful.